I met a gypsy.
So when you first get these contracts for the first like council sort of deal, so that like World Trail starts to become like a legitimate thing, and I guess so like when did any of this at any point become an idea for like you could go, man, I just see Cairns. Like we could have all these trails and they could be signed out and they could be marked out. Everyone knows. Like when was that an idea before it was reality? Yeah. Like that's something that was like a long-term thing.
There was a thing after the first World Championships where a friend of mine said, it was around the time of the Olympics in Sydney, and I was saying, look, I can see a future where, I was telling the guys that were working.
I completely forgot about the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, it was, it was in there, and but a lot of traffic. No, but
fences everywhere.
Yeah, and just saying, like I was saying, like I can see a future where we do trail building as a career, and you guys will be working on these trails here, and we'll be on them. But there'll be another job over here that I'll have to go and have a look at and see how that's going. But I'll come back here and see how that's going. Then we'll move over to this one, and this was 10 years before that happened. So I could see it happening. I could see it evolving that way. I didn't know the right pathway, but. There was a time, of course. And then with Cairns, well, we're all proud of Cairns and how beautiful it is. We're proud of where you live, and you want to show people how you live and why you lived, and why you're you. And Cairns is lovely like that. So always really wanted Cairns to be, and it naturally evolved that way anyway. So with the World Cups and World Championships,
and so. Was Derby the first project that was like, all right, this is what my vision was, in a sense, like the first like real complete kind of project in your mind? What was the first one?
Well, the first one was Forest in Victoria. It was one of our first jobs. And Jeremy Hugh, who works for us now and has worked for us for nearly 18 years.
Wow.
He was the project manager of that project.
Was that the one that was down like Anglesea and that?
Yeah. We probably went there for a ride or something like that. But it had the same, we had that formula, always had that formula where it has to be so, because UCI always had, especially with the Olympics and the World Championships, they always had this thing where you weren't allowed to have a race event or a race in a town or any more than an hour and a half from a major airport, because people are traveling from all over the world to race a downhill or cross country. Last thing they want to do is when they get off a plane, travel more than an hour and a half. So that was rule one. Rule two was beautiful terrain. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Lakes and waterfalls and forests and whatever, escarpments. Next one was beautiful trails. You had to build amazing trails within that environment. Fourth one was opportunities for growth. A little township. There's a pub there or there's some houses, but that's all that's there. But things can grow from that, because maybe a bike shop could be set up in that old service station, or and go from there. And the next one is natural progression, as in basically if it becomes a success, it's like, not landlocked.
Yeah, formulates itself.
Yeah, like it's not like an island. It's not surrounded by like towns and suburbia or
it's actually got room
private
to,
property. You need to grow. Natural progression. You need to. Okay, this is a real. This 80 kilometres of trail is hugely successful. We want another 20. Oh, we can't.
Yeah,
we can't go any further.
Yeah.
Or we'd like to bring in 3 more shuttle companies, but there's nowhere to go because So you need that, and then the event overlay.
Yeah, okay.
If you've built that and you've spent some money on putting all those trails in, and we call it the circus, the circus comes along, drops over, picks up and goes away.
Yeah.
Just like, and if that all works, as in like emergency exits, communication, where can you put 3 outside broadcast trucks, and where can you put 10,000 people with marquees, and we always look at that. All that. So this town had all that. It was fantastic. But you have to have 85 kilometres of trail for it to work.
Yeah.
And so it only got
so that's your
far.
minimum number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you need people to get in a plane, Big groups.
Yeah. You can't ride it in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't ride it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Maybe the 3rd or 4th day, you've ridden all the trails, but then you go,
then you get to go back to the one you want.
And in there, if you've ridden 3 days, you want a day off.
Yeah.
Because you've ridden the shit out of them. So you want a day. So it extends to about a week. Yeah. So the sweet spot's about 5 to 7 days. But if you have anything less, everybody wants the new Derby. They want a great destination, but only want to throw 20 kilometres of trail at it. Well, it's not. That's going to work, but it's not going to be a destination.
That's going to be an hour of power place where people just go for that. It's like a local thing only.
Do not expect anything else more than that.
Yeah,
And we're strict. And I mean, it's not rocket science. It was done with ski resorts 80 years ago and 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You've got to have X amount of runs for X amount of people. Not just one run down a hill with one chair left. You've got to have something for everybody. So the 85 kilometres is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And anything less really doesn't bring the masses in.
Yeah.
It may work if it was all gravity, if it was all downhill.
Yeah,
Of course, that more than enough. But they're all different types of products, So you've got to be there. Visitation, you've got to stay there. You've got to eat from the cafes. You've got to sleep somewhere and go from there. So Forest came very close, and a bike shop came in and set it all up, but there wasn't enough growth in trails. It didn't expand. And I think they're doing it now, and I hope they really do, because it's a beautiful place. But anyway, Derby, and there was a lot of other places around Australia that are very similar. That model we carried through. But Derby was the first place that actually said yes to everything, and some. And very proactive, very, let's do this, let's do that. They were yes, yes, yes. And they could, and it's such an old, beautiful place, tunnels and lakes, and had a history, and it's beautiful, and an hour and 20 from the airport, and and it's a little wee town, but geez, it's gone off.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.